A big rebound on the jobs front. The Labor Department's report for November coming in above expectations. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre on the new figures.
Just today, we learned more than 220,000 jobs were created last month, making this the only presidency in 50 years to have job growth every single month.
The unemployment rate ticking up to 4.2%. That's still at near historic lows. A Texas elementary school teacher put on leave after claims she would not let her students go to the restroom. The district now investigating.
When a few first graders were playing in a hallway at Bartlett Elementary in Conroe outside Houston, the teacher is said to have punished the whole class by refusing to let them use the bathroom.
My daughter, in an emergency, along with other children, urinated on themselves.
And parent Joseph McCauley is furious. Conroe school administrators have issued a statement saying the incident is not indicative of the school's safe and loving environment. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
After a 4-day search outside Pittsburgh, recovery crews finding the body of a 64-year-old woman. Elizabeth Pollard fell into a 30-foot sinkhole that opened up over an abandoned coal mine. State Trooper Steve Lamani.
She was about 12 feet southwest of where the original sinkhole occurred.
Pollard and a granddaughter had been out looking for her cat. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
I'm Gil Walter, KBNU News. News is brought to you by Cardall's Insulation. Well, Bronco Mendenhall has agreed to a 6-year deal to become the football coach at Utah State, the school announced earlier today. The 58-year-old Mendenhall comes to the Aggies from New Mexico, where he guided the Lobos to a 5-7 mark in his first and only season at the school. New Mexico led the Mountain West Conference in total offense under Mendenhall, generating 484.2 yards per game. Before coaching at New Mexico, Mendenhall spent 6 seasons at Virginia and, of course, 11 seasons at BYU. He has a 140-88 career record in 18 seasons as a head coach. Mendenhall said in a release that his passion is developing young people and transforming football programs to reach their full potential. He said that Utah State provides him a great opportunity to do both and allows a family focus that is essential to him and his wife, Holly. He said they look forward to adding to Utah State's rich tradition and striving for football excellence. Mendenhall joins a Utah State program that has had 3 straight losing seasons since winning its only Mountain West Conference championship in 2021. The Aggies went 4-8 this past season under interim head coach Nate Dreiling. Dreiling took over the program after head coach Blake Anderson was fired in July after 3 seasons for alleged non-compliance with university rules regarding the reporting of complaints of sexual misconduct. The former leader of a local charity organization has confessed to sexually abusing young children for years. Jorge Manin Moreno is being held in a Utah County jail without bail on multiple similar cases throughout northern Utah. According to court records, Manin Moreno appeared December 2nd in Logan's 1st District Court. He accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to 4 counts of aggravated sexual abuse of a child, a first-degree felony, and 2 counts of forcible sexual abuse, a second-degree felony. As part of the agreement, prosecutors dismissed 26 remaining charges. According to prosecutors, on June 12, 2023, Spanish Fork police officers were contacted by a teenage boy. The victim told investigators how he and several other boys had been inappropriately touched by a man in Moreno, a family friend. The incidents took place at residences in Smithfield, Spanish Fork, Pleasant Grove, and Taylorsville. The boy explained how all the families were originally from Chile and often got together twice a month to socialize. Since men in Moreno and others live several hours away, they would often spend the night at each other's homes. Utah State Aggie men's basketball 8-0 on the season. They host the Utah Tech Trailblazers after Ian Martinez scored 23 points in Utah State's 70-67 win over the Wyoming Cowboys on Wednesday night. Saturday night's matchup is the first this season for the squads. The Trailblazers come in with a 2-8 record. That game at 7 o'clock in the Spectrum. Aggie Game Day pregame at 6 Saturday night here on KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Logan Extermination. Give them a call, 752-8450. And we do have more widespread haze in the forecast for tonight and early tomorrow. Patchy fog, but hazy sunshine tomorrow. High temperature again in the low to mid 40s. A 40% chance of snow with this on Sunday. Get more news at CacheValleyDaily.com.
As the weather outside turns frightful, it's time to think about making the inside of your home delightful. Wrap your home in warmth this winter with Cardall's insulation. Their insulation doesn't just keep the cold out, it keeps the warm in. Today's insulation will make your home quieter and can dramatically cut down on your energy bill. Whether it's an attic, garage, or your entire home in need of insulation, Cardall's Insulation is who you should call. 755-5012. There's still a tax credit up to $1,200 you can take advantage of. Call 755-5012.
Help us recognize the champions in our communities. Submit your nominations by visiting kvnutalk.com. The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs.
Looking for the perfect gift for family or friends? Visit Cox Honeyland and Gifts on South Highway 89, Northern Utah's premier gourmet honey and gift store. Discover unique items like ornaments, Christmas decor, wreaths, figurines, homemade fudge, and honey popcorn, all in a variety of price ranges. Plus, choose from an assortment of honey varieties and create your own custom gift baskets in a relaxed atmosphere. Enjoy free gift wrapping and shipping anywhere you need. Sweeten your winter season at Cox Honeyland, 1780 South Highway 89. Call 752-3234 for more details.
Fall is here. Winter is on the way. And while the fields may be quiet, the work never stops. Cash Equipment is your partner through every season, offering Kubota, AGCO, and Massey Ferguson machinery. Right now is the perfect time to service your equipment, and the expert service team at Cash Equipment is here to help. Whether you're maintaining land, handling livestock, or already preparing for spring, Cash Equipment is here all year to support you with reliable parts and equipment. In Hyde Park and online at CashEquipment.com.
Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs. If you're having heating trouble and you need your furnace fixed, just pick up the phone and call Gary Riggs. 435-512-6633. We'll come to you. Our service fee is low, just $25. We repair all brands and have certified installers. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs.
This Christmas, give the gift of diamond jewelry from S.E. Needham Jewelers. Choose from our beautiful selection of diamond pendants and diamond earrings from our new Rhythm of Love collection. Featured in this unique collection are diamonds that move and sparkle with every heartbeat. It is breathtaking technology and will be cherished for a lifetime. Prices starting at only $199. Guys, she'll be impressed with your fine taste as you give her the gift of diamond jewelry wrapped in our signature gift wrap. Come today. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVN News for the People. It is Friday. Finally, right? December 6th. I'm Jason Williams. Appreciate everyone tuning in today. Coming up, we've been getting a lot of questions about the ice rink in downtown Logan. And we spoke with Russ Aquina about this a couple of weeks ago. And the time is now upon us. It is officially opened. But there are some rules, and this is what we've been getting a lot of questions from listeners about. If you want to skate, now, you can do kind of a walk-up thing, but you have to wait for there to be room. There are some safety rules about how many people can be out there on the ice there in downtown at a time. And so the best way to ensure that you and your family or you and your friends or just you get to skate is visiting a website. On the city's website, there is a link where you can begin a process to schedule a block of time for yourself to skate. And so we'll revisit that. Again, we had a chance to ask how the city had changed the process a little bit this year after the trial run last year. And Parks and Rec Director Russ Aquina spelled it all out the way it works. So that's coming up later on. I mentioned yesterday on the show that Governor Cox was taking a nice way to say it would be a proactive approach to the legislative process. A maybe more accurate and more crass way to say it is Governor Cox appears to be willing to finally, here in the start of his second term, poke the legislature in the eye just a little bit. We'll talk about that with the governor's budget out yesterday. We discussed some of the details and highlights of the budget here on the show yesterday. Today, the governor's office released a 45-second, I've never seen this before, it's a 45-second promotional video for the governor's budget proposals. Yeah, we're going to talk about this because it's not only are the details of the budget interesting, very focused on investing taxpayer money in helping seniors and veterans, building up Utah's energy industries, both geothermal, and the governor wanting to put a couple of $10 million towards getting the ball rolling on nuclear. And of course, he doesn't mention it specifically in the budget because, the legislature, Arkle-Barkle, they get angry about it, but solar and wind as well. It's a comprehensive budget, not different than a budget that a governor would release any year, going back as long as I've been following, back to the Huntsman years. But what's unique about this is Cox has been hesitant to approach things in the way that Governor Herbert before him did. Herbert had a great relationship with the legislature, but he also understands that here in Utah, the legislature basically has all the power. And as I've mentioned hundreds of times, and we'll keep mentioning hundreds of times here on the show, our legislature at the time has a bit of an ego problem. They've been consolidating power. They tried to be blunt, lie to voters on the ballot with the language they wrote for Amendment D. The courts stopped them, thankfully, from doing that. But it shouldn't take the courts to stop them from doing that. Now they're mad about the courts telling them no and slapping their hands. And so they'll probably try to end run around this in some way during the legislative session. Basically, the picture painted by legislative behavior over the last couple of years under the leadership of House Speaker Mike Schultz and Senate President Stuart Adams, very different from the legislature of Senate President Wayne Niederhauser, House Speaker Becky Lockhart, and even House Speaker Brad Wilson, who was kind of Mike Schultz's mentor, was more careful about this. House Speaker Greg Hughes was more careful about this. They understood the importance of public buy-in. They understood the importance of public education on what they were doing. This legislature seems to only understand one thing, and that is their power. And they have a very don't you know who we are approach to all of this, which, of course, the public's picking up on, and they're getting pushback, and it's not going well. It's kind of like watching a teenager learn that, yes, there's a benefit to playing by most of the rules. The governor seems to have noticed an opportunity here to push back himself, and he, I think, is approaching this the way Governor Herbert used to. Herbert understood that the legislature has all the power. He understood there is nothing productive in picking a battle with the legislature that basically comes down to, I'm going to veto this, and then the legislature says, well, we don't like that you vetoed that, so now we're all mad, and we're going to override your veto, even though some of the people who vote to override didn't vote for the original bill that was vetoed because they didn't like it. It's happened again and again and again, and it's the legislature saying, don't you know who we are? Herbert, though, was smart about this. He understood he had a bully pulpit. He understood that he could send the message first to the public and get everyone calling their local lawmakers and saying, I support this. I want you to do this. I don't want you to ignore this. And Herbert was very successful at that. Cox has been hesitant to do that so far. As he said, he prefers an approach where he works all the disagreements out with the legislature during the legislative process, and any bill that passes is then, a compromise between the governor's office and the two chambers of the legislature, the House and the Senate, Utah House, Utah Senate. He said that's his preferred approach. It hasn't worked so well for him. And here in his second term, I think that light bulb has gone on, and he released a promotional video today. I'm going to play this for you. This is Governor Cox basically saying to the legislature, like Herbert, my predecessor, Governor Gary Herbert, I have a bully pulpit. You have all the power as the legislature. I understand that. But I have a bully pulpit. I can influence public opinion by doing popular things and dare you to ignore me. That's basically what this 45-second clip released by the governor's office today does, complete with dramatic music and inspiring speeches, all centered around, I've never seen this before, all centered around the governor's release yesterday of Utah's fiscal year 2026 budget proposal from his office. Here is the promotional video that's been put together around this budget. And again, a sign the governor is willing to play hardball with the legislature to get them to come down off their perch a little bit.
Do this to completely eliminate Social Security taxes in our state. This will help the most vulnerable in our state, our seniors, especially those living on a fixed income. We can do this year. We know that there is a second issue that is hurting our country and hurting our state, and that is the price of energy. We are proposing $20 million for nuclear energy development. We have to double the amount of energy being produced in our state over the next 10 years, and we know that we can do it. We know that Utah can lead the nation in energy production because that's who we are, and that's the abundance mentality that we must be thinking with.
Dramatic, huh? Again, I've never seen this before. I've never seen a promotional video released for a budget proposal from a governor. But I think it's, from the governor's point of view, this is a smart tactic. This video has now several 100,000 views, and it's only been out since 10 a.m. this morning. It is the governor's attempt to check the legislature's ego just a little bit and say, I'm governor. You have all the power as the legislature. It's the way it's set up. But I'm governor. I'm not a nobody here. And I have an agenda for the state, too. He's daring the legislature to ignore him this time. And based on the reaction to this promotional video that is all over the interwebs today, the governor right now is winning the messaging battle. It'll be interesting now to see how the legislature, again, still upset. The courts had the audacity to tell them no, they had to follow the state constitution. I'm curious to see if they respond to the governor flexing his muscle a little bit around this budget to say, okay, we are not all powerful. There are checks and balances on this system, and we do have to compromise with the other branches to get anything done. That's what they should say. But we'll see if they do say that. Check it out. I've played the video for you if you want to watch it. It's on the governor's Facebook page. I've reshared the post on our own, and we'll be back right after this.
Cares for Christmas is dedicated to helping local families. Family 11 is a hardworking mom with 5 kids. She does everything she can for them, but there's not always enough money for gifts. This family is hoping for things like clothes, a basketball, soccer ball, and Barbies or dolls for her little girl. If you can help, visit caresforchristmas.org. That's caresforchristmas.org. And thanks for caring this Christmas.
Did you build a new home? Regardless of how clean your builder was, your ducts will have a variety of construction debris in them. Debris like sawdust, flooring pieces, sheetrock dust, and more. You do not want to move into your home with that debris in the ductwork. Call the Duct Hunter and get on the schedule today. Call the Duct Hunter at 770-4813.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
This is Brad Franke, CAPSA board member and a local law enforcement officer for over 34 years. As an officer, I see the impact CAPSA has in thousands of lives across our community. Survivor, you matter at CAPSA. And as a board member, I see how local support for CAPSA funds life-changing services for survivors of domestic and sexual violence. CAPSA supporters, you matter in this work. Learn more and give at capsa.org.
You might ask yourself, when is the best time to start saving for retirement? The answer is simple. It's today. And Edward Jones Financial Advisor is here to help. They will work with you to build a plan for your ideal retirement by identifying your unique goals and help keep you on track to achieve them. The sooner you get started, the better. Call one of our 11 Edward Jones locations in Cache Valley to schedule an appointment today. Making sense of investing. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Browse unique Christmas gifts and holiday decorations at the Christmas Shop at Merrill Family Holiday Sales. Christmas decor, stocking stuffers, cute gnomes, reindeer, and lots of other unique gift ideas fill the bright red barn at 1105 West, 2200 South in Logan. Merrill Family Holiday Sales also has the widest assortment of fresh cut Christmas trees in Cache Valley. Visit the Christmas Shop today and get a fresh Christmas tree at 1105 West, 2200 South, across from Strata Apartments. Merrill Family Holiday Sales, making Christmas real since 1992.
Welcome back to KVN News for the people. Forgive me a bit, political junkies, but I'm going to do a little amateur sports talk here for a minute. Sports can be a lot like politics in that there are, in politics, these are called power moves, where someone does something kind of surprising in order to put themselves in a better position or open up opportunities that they'd really like to do. I think an example of this recently was John Curtis stepping up to run for United States Senate, where he'd only been in the House, a couple of terms, and had said previously there was a lot of work he wanted to do there, and therefore, would probably be in there for a while. And then he decided earlier this year that no, he's actually going to mount this run for Senate. He talked to us here on the show, and he said, that what he realized is that there were a couple of specific things he really wanted to work on, and working in a body like the Senate, a smaller body, fewer members, he would be better set to achieve some of these things he wanted to work on, specifically things around public lands and more. And also it's a promotion. I mean, technically, some people have left the Senate to go to the House, but usually even here in the state House and Senate, it works the other way. You leave the House to go to the Senate. After you've been in the Senate, maybe here in Utah, you run for United States Senate or governor or whatever it might be. So it's kind of the natural progression. And a similar thing happens in sports, specifically in this case, college football and some of the conference shakeups of this year. So the question is, the news today, for those who haven't heard it, and I'm sure this is being discussed. In fact, I'm looking through to the other studio here where they're broadcasting The Fan, 106.9 FM, Full Court Press on The Fan, 106.9 FM. And I can see the Full Court Press guys, Jason and JD, and it's animated. I can see hands waving in the air. I can see heads bobbling, mouths are moving. So I guarantee if you want more talk about this Bronco Mendenhall news today, they're talking about it. So you can. I would understand if you're a sports fan, if you want to tune in to 106.9 FM, the fan, for the Full Court Press. I'll forgive you today because this is big news. And the news was that earlier this morning, it was announced that Bronco Mendenhall, former BYU coach, Virginia head coach, current, well, until today, wrapping up first year coaching at New Mexico, and he's coming back to Logan. He's going to be the head coach of USU football program. And that was a surprise to a lot of people. In fact, just yesterday, I was listening to some sports talkers on another outlet talk about why, they were speculating on, or excuse me, just last week, they were speculating on, the future of the Utah State University football program. And obviously the university had said they're looking for a new head coach. The interim coach, for lack of a better word, never wanted to be coach, came in as an assistant coach. Everything that happened this summer, tossed everything in the air. He finds himself as head coach, not a goal that he had and not something that he himself said he wanted to do yet in his career. So the university's been searching, and they found somebody. And it was a surprise to everyone that former BYU coach Bronco Mendenhall would now be heading up the USU football program and as head coach because he had, again, just a year at New Mexico after a couple of years of kind of sitting it out, almost looking like he was going to retire. Then he came back, spent a year at New Mexico. And so this conversation I was listening to on a podcast last week while driving was, they were talking about how Bronco Mendenhall came up, and they were talking about, oh, no, it won't be him. There's no way he's leaving University of New Mexico for USU at this point. Not that USU isn't a comparable school or a comparable program, but he's only been there a year. And in fact, there were others. Dick Harmon, a sports columnist at the Deseret News, actually wrote himself the same thing, saying Bronco isn't leaving. Stop the speculation. Bronco isn't leaving University of New Mexico for USU. His work isn't finished with the Lobos as a program. He has deep ties with Overtime. And yet, here we are today. No official introduction yet, and maybe more explanation will be provided then, but announced by Utah State University, Bronco Mendenhall is now the head coach of the USU Aggies in the football program. So, and he said in a short statement, he said, Mendenhall said, my passion is developing young people and transforming football programs to reach their full potential. Utah State University provides a great opportunity to do both and allows a family focus that is essential to me and Holly. He grew up here in Utah, so coming back to Utah, he's excited about that, is what he's saying. So we look forward to adding to Utah State's rich tradition of striving for football excellence. But again, it was a big surprise. And so now everybody today, why did he do it? Why did he do it? And I'm not a Full Court Press guy. Again, if you want to hear more about this and probably smarter analysis than I'm about to provide, tune in to JD and Jason down there discussing it on the Full Court Press on 106.9 The Fan. I'm sure they're going to be talking about it most of the show today, or are right now, based on the hand waving and head bobbing I'm seeing. It's pretty animated down there in the studio, down the hall from me. But here's my very quick, oversimplified analysis. Why would Bronco Mendenhall leave New Mexico, which he took that job for the same reason he said he took the USU job? He likes rebuilding programs that are struggling. He likes to build them up, and he said that's very fulfilling for him to do. And so that's why everyone was saying, oh, he's not going to leave New Mexico after just a year, because he only took the job because they were struggling and needed to be built up, and he's had some success there. A lot more room to grow, basically. He won't be leaving New Mexico, and then he does. I don't know how New Mexico feels about this. They're probably not too happy, but it's the football world. This happens. Nobody should be surprised by that. Here's my quick and dirty, oversimplified analysis of why Mendenhall would leave New Mexico after just a year, after taking that job to build up their program and doing so a bit, but with a lot of room to grow again, and jump ship, come to Utah State to build that program back up, which obviously is in need of it at this point. This is the answer: the Pac-12. That's it. I think this is the most obvious answer to that question of why Mendenhall made this decision. That future conference affiliation, both teams, by the way, talking about New Mexico and USU here. So both New Mexico and Utah State are both in the Mountain West and peers at this point. But in 2026, USU will jump to the Pac-12, or whatever the Pac-12 is in 2026. They still have to fill a slot, so that puts USU in with Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Gonzaga, Oregon State, San Diego State, Utah State, Washington State, and one as of yet unnamed member of the conference by 2026. And then in the Mountain West, you'd have the staples still: Air Force, Nevada, UNLV, UTEP, things like that. And that's I think why Mendenhall would do this. So USU's still in Mountain West until the 2026 season, but taking the head coach job, building the program up now, and entering the Pac-12 in 2026 with a team that you've had some time to work with and build, I don't know any coach with a love of college football that wouldn't take that opportunity, honestly. Now, I'm not saying I know this. I've had no conversations with him, and I'm not saying this in a disparaging way. This just makes sense to me. When I heard the announcement, I thought, no, that's why. You come in at a time when you've got some wiggle room to build the team up in the Mountain West Conference, and then be ready to go when 2026 you enter the Pac-12. And I can imagine for a college football coach with the experience Mendenhall has already had, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I think the answer is that simple. So either way, I think it's good news for USU. I'm not sure how New Mexico's reacting to this. I haven't seen any statements from the school yet. But the news is official today. And again, if you want to hear more about this, that's my quick analysis. I think it's that simple. It's all about Pac-12, and I don't blame Mendenhall for that at all. Nobody should. But maybe a little bit about the opportunity to come back to Utah. You grew up here. And if you need any evidence of that, look at his kids' names in the USU statement. If you want to hear more in-depth analysis of this, again, I guarantee this is the discussion of the day at Full Court Press right now over there on 106.9 The Fan. All right. I promise that's all of the sports talk for our regular political junkie listeners. We'll get back to the politics. And a reminder, For the People movie show coming up at 5 o'clock with Andy Morgan. We'll be back after this look at the local headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News is brought to you by Bell Sculpt. Governor Cox revealed his state budget plan on Thursday morning, which includes $20 million for nuclear power site preparation in Utah and the elimination of state income taxes on Social Security payments to seniors. The budget book, nearly 200 pages long, said the Social Security tax cut would be close to $145 million total and save seniors an average of roughly $1,000 a year. The governor said it is an embarrassment that Utah is still one of 11 states that tax those benefits, but the nuclear power proposal, while relatively tiny in a $30.6 billion budget, may generate the most political electricity. Cox said, quote, "If you really believe that we need to eliminate carbon from the air, you have to be pro-nuclear. There is no other way possible to do this," end of quote. Cox said housing remains his top priority, but energy is now second. Law enforcement has arrested 2 Logan women who allegedly used the debit cards of a deceased man to make more than $3,000 in purchases. 52-year-old Tracy Kent Broadhead and 46-year-old Holly Marie Markey were booked into the Cache County Jail on Wednesday. According to arrest paperwork, Logan City police officers received a call from an individual who claimed that 2 of their deceased father's debit cards had been used to make multiple purchases. Bank statements showed the transactions began the day of the father's death and continued for about a month. The victim told officers that he suspected Broadhead and Markey were the individuals using the cards. The two women were reportedly roommates with the man before he died. Financial documents showed Broadhead and Markey allegedly made 20 transactions using the stolen cards. The purchases included a new refrigerator and dishwasher from a home improvement store, beer and cigarettes from a convenience store, and paying a utility bill. Police report that in some cases, Broadhead claimed to be the deceased man's daughter while making the purchases. KVNU weather brought to you by Roof Rescue, dedicated to keeping your home safe and dry from minor repairs to complete roof replacement. Celebrating 10 years of providing watertight peace of mind. Go to roofrescueusa.com or call 435-999-4268. Areas of patchy fog tonight, hazy conditions, otherwise mostly clear tonight, all the way down to 21. Some areas of the valley could be a little bit colder than that. And then some hazy sunshine tomorrow, back into the mid-40s, and then a 40% chance of snow with this on Sunday. Get more news at cachevalleydaily.com.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In New York City, police say they have recovered the backpack they believe the suspected gunman was wearing when he targeted and killed United Healthcare's CEO outside a Manhattan hotel this week. They located that backpack in Central Park, where officers on foot and using drones conducted the search. Police now say they believe the suspect has left the city on a bus. ABC's Aaron Katersky says investigators have a trail of clues.
They have him all over the city, focused on this 10-day period from when he arrived November 24th to the day of the shooting, December 4th. He was in a taxi. He went to a McDonald's. He went to the Starbucks, and he paid cash, and he made sure to keep his mask on.
The World Health Organization sending a team of experts to Congo to monitor a mysterious illness they're calling Disease X that has killed at least 79 people and sickened nearly 380 others in just over a month, many of them children. Bitter cold temperatures keeping its grip across the upper plains and northeast this weekend. This is ABC.
This holiday season, give the gift of confidence with Bell Sculpt. Whether it's for yourself or a loved one, there is no better way to start the new year than feeling your best. Right now, get 10% off of all gift card purchases. From natural body sculpting to award-winning plastic surgery, our transformative procedures provide guaranteed results and lasting confidence. Visit bell.fm or call us at 801-899-1244 to purchase your gift card today and give the gift of confidence. That's BELLE.FM.
This is Branch Office Administrator Amy Rasmussen bringing you the daily financial market report on behalf of Financial Office Advisor T.J. Davis and Edward Jones. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ hit yet another record high after the November jobs data pointed to ongoing economic resilience without stalking fresh inflation worries. Jobs gains surprised slightly to the upside, but the unemployment rate ticked higher, keeping the Fed on track to cut rates in December. Government bonds yields fell to a month-and-a-half low, with the Fed policy-sensitive two-year rate dropping more than the 10-year. Both small caps and technology stocks outperformed, while the energy sector led to the downside. OPEC yesterday delayed its planned output increase from January to April, extending its production cuts until the end of 2026. Despite the delay in adding production, the move highlights the weak supply and demand dynamics, with the U.S. producers capturing a bigger share, while China demands remain soft. Today's U.S. equities closed higher. The Dow closed down 123 points at 44,643. The NASDAQ closed up 159 points at 19,860. The S&P 500 closed up 15 points at 6,090, and the bond market 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 4.15%, lower by 0.03 percentage points. In stocks of local interest, Zions Bank is up 0.303%, closing at 58.38. Walt Disney Corp is up 0.23, closing at 116.73. Stellantis is up 0.14, closing at 0.65. This has been today's financial market report brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and the financial advisor TJ Davis, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 575 East, 1400 North in Logan.
Backed by popular demand, A Gentry Christmas. The most beloved Christmas songs of all time, brought to life with epic orchestrations and lush harmony. Bring your family together to experience A Gentry Christmas. Thursday through Saturday, December 5th through the 7th. For tickets, visit casharts.org.
Is your neighbor Northern Utah's Clark Griswold? If so, we want to know. Nominate your friends and neighbors to be put on Focus Pharmacology and CashValleyDaily.com's interactive Christmas light and decorations tour map. The winner and their two closest neighbors each win a $600 supplement package courtesy of Focus Pharmacology, Cache Valley's own premier supplement line. To submit a home, please email a location and a photo or two to Cimarron@CVRadio.com or go to CashValleyDaily.com. To find out more about our sponsor, go to FocusPharmacology.com. Deadline to nominate is December 18th.
For the People movie show with Andy Morgan coming up in a few minutes. We have some catching up to do with no show last week. A lot of new films in theaters and some announcements as far as films coming back to theaters for the Christmas holiday as well. Some unexpected things in the news just today. One of them really unexpected, Terrifier 3. They're putting it back in. It's set at Christmas, but this is it's an unrated slasher horror flick. And the entire point of these movies are really gross special effects and over-the-top violence. It's a supernatural killer clown. Anyway, they're putting it back in theaters for the Christmas holiday because it's set at Christmas. Interestingly enough, though, I learned this about the Terrifier films, the third one at least, which is the one coming back to theaters. The third film set a record for money made in the box office by a non-rated film. These films are so... when I say violent, I want to stress it's almost cartoonish violence because the whole point of the film is to spend most of the budget on special effects. And it's really gross. And there are parts where they're trying to be funny, but for me, the grossness, I couldn't even chuckle at the parts I knew were supposed to be funny. It was just it was too much for me. I don't enjoy that kind of thing. And there's no plot whatsoever. But they're popular. People, they've got like a cult following, and there's even a joke about them being great date movies. So that was a thing this year when it first hit theaters. But it's not rated because it wouldn't receive a rating. If they put it through the ratings process, there isn't a rating for this type of film. They're not overly profane. They're not. There's no graphic nudity that I remember, at least from. I've only seen the second one. It's just the violence and the amount of gore. It just would never fly. It wouldn't receive an R rating, and it doesn't really fall into the X rating category either. And so the filmmakers just said, you know what, we're not going to bother. This is a cult film. People want to see it'll see it, and we're not expecting to make a lot of money. And boy, were they surprised. They made a lot of money, again, setting a world record for a non-rated film. So we'll talk about that more in hour two. We've also got some streaming service announcements, a funny review of Netflix's Hot Frosty, which is the story of the story of Frosty the Snowman, but in this case, it's some buff dude without a shirt on for most of the film. And one of the funniest reviews I've read. I haven't seen it. It's on Netflix now if you want to, but a really funny. We've got all that coming up for the People movie show. A quick warning, though, from everyone. The Better Business Bureau and the Utah Consumer Protection Bureau, which is based out of Salt Lake, are jointly issuing a warning. The Better Business Bureau is issuing this nationwide. The state agency is saying it's really a problem here in Utah. And the reason they're doing that is a slew of Christmas scams on social media. Now, this is a thing every year. You have to know that. But what is raising the alarm specifically in this case are these media ads. You see them a lot on Instagram and TikTok mostly, but I have seen them pop up on Facebook and Twitter as well. Haven't seen them on Bluesky yet, but Bluesky is or Blue Sky. I don't know which. I like Bluesky better. It sounds funnier. But I haven't seen them there yet. But I have run across them on TikTok and Instagram. I don't use Facebook very much except to promote things for the show, so I haven't spent a lot of time scrolling there to see if they pop up there. But Better Business Bureau says they are. And they're issuing an official scam alert. And these, again, are social media ads for personalized gifts. A creepy story here that's a little personal as well, but it fits. But a couple of weeks ago, I had to put a dog down, my little buddy. And it was exact. If you ever had to do that, it was, it went that way. And it was, he was in pain due to Cushing's disease, and it was just horrible. Otherwise, perfectly healthy, sad experience. Either a conversation I had with someone or I don't know what else would have triggered it, but I started getting all these ads for personalized memorial gifts for pets. You can have your dog's face embroidered on a hoodie. You can get these personalized mugs with your dog's face on it. And that's creepy in and of itself, that our phones are listening that much. My phone, all the data collected about me by some app on my phone or just by the phone's operating system itself, I don't know. It had connected the dots that I recently lost a dog and was serving up ads along those lines. Creepy, right? This is the world we live in, though. What's making this a little bit different, though, is the Better Business Bureau is saying these personalized gift ads. Now, they're always a bit scammy in that, sure, you can get the pet you're missing's face embroidered on a hoodie, which maybe that's something you'd be into and excited about, but you're going to overpay for that hoodie, and it's going to take 16 weeks to show up. So there's always been that slightly scammy element to a lot of these pop-up social media offers. What makes this different, though, the Better Business Bureau says, is a lot of these personalized gift media ads that they're seeing primarily on Instagram and TikTok, but a little bit, they say, on Facebook and Twitter, they are outright scams. These are ads promoting customized gifts. They're very common in general. So that's what has raised the alarm. They're saying people aren't going to recognize the scam ones because the legit businesses, again, where you're going to overpay for the personalized item and it's probably not arriving by Christmas, even though they promised to. Those are legit, though, that you'll actually get what you paid for or what you overpaid for. These are different. These are outright scams. These are scams where you order a keychain with your pet's face on it, or one example given was a personalized paint by numbers kit, where you take your personal photo or a photo of a pet or your grandma, whatever it is, and they turn it into a paint by numbers kit. A fun thing, right? That would be cool, actually, and fun at a family party, probably. Everybody paint grandma, and even grandma, make grandma paint grandma. I can see why people would order that. The problem is, though, again, it's one of these, at least, is an outright scam. And what happens is you pay for the item, and then what shows up is not at all what you bought. One example given by the Better Business Bureau is, this is the one I was speaking of specifically. Now, there are some others that are legit. They will actually embroider your pet's face on a hoodie or a T-shirt or something like that. There's one, though, that's an outright scam where people were getting T-shirts and hoodies showing up, and it was just a generic dog on there. In other cases, nothing was showing up. So they released some tips today. Better Business Bureau and Utah's Consumer Protection Agency teaming up on this message. They said, here are some tips for you this holiday season with seeing an increase in these scam social media ads for personalized Christmas gifts. Here's what they recommend. Research the company before you make the purchase. You can check any company's profile at the Better Business Bureau website, which is bbb.org, easy to remember, right? And see if they have a history. Problem is, a lot of these are so new, they call them pop-up businesses, and they're so new and they won't be here next year. So even if they aren't a scam, they might not have a rating or a file of complaints or praise at business review sites. So that makes it a challenge. But they say still try. Any real business will have valid contact information. That's the big tell, the Better Business Bureau says. Any legit business that has filed paperwork with some government entity to be registered and exist as a business has to have a working phone number and a serviceable customer service email address. So it won't be just a personal email address, or it won't be no email address. They'll have something like that, and a legitimate business is going to make that available on the ad or the website where you buy. The second thing they recommend is, of course, be skeptical of too good to be true offers. If they're selling you a hoodie that usually, online will go for between 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks, and they're selling it to you for $15, you get 3 of them for $15 with grandma's face embroidered on it, probably a scam. Inspect the ad on the website. Look for red flags. Some of the red flags the Better Business Bureau recommends you watch for: poor grammar, misspelling, blurry images, generic product descriptions that look like maybe they've been cut and pasted from Amazon, and also verify the URL. Scammers often create fake websites that are slightly misspelled to trick you. Make sure that the secure website notifier is in the link that you're about to click on. And by that, if you've noticed at the first of every URL you click on the internet, it starts HTTP. You want to look for an HTTPS, meaning that your transaction, if you enter a credit card or something like that, will be secure. If it doesn't say HTTPS, that is not a secure transaction. Someone else could be watching what you type. And finally, look for reviews on other websites. And just in general, the Better Business Bureau says, be wary. They're not saying completely avoid, but be wary of sponsored content, whether it's on Amazon or on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. If someone's paying to promote the ad, that can sometimes be a sign that this is not a legit advertiser. They're spending the money to promote the ad to scam as many people as they can, and that's cheaper for them to do than you would believe. And social media platforms aren't verifying the authenticity of the promoted advertisers. They do verify the authenticity of anyone in their store. Facebook and TikTok and Instagram all have a store. Those are verified. But a promoted ad, there's no verification. So some tips to watch out for from the Better Business Bureau this Christmas season. And don't get yourself scammed. We'll be back right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Cares for Christmas is dedicated to helping local families. Family 11 is a hardworking mom with 5 kids. She does everything she can for them, but there's not always enough money for gifts. This family is hoping for things like clothes, a basketball, soccer ball, and Barbies or dolls for her little girl. If you can help, visit caresforchristmas.org. That's caresforchristmas.org. And thanks for caring this Christmas.
With the arrival of fall, potential heavy rainstorms, fallen leaves, and debris, the Cache Stormwater Coalition would like to remind you of a few things to be mindful of. Clean out all the leaves and debris from your rain gutters. Use a broom or rake to remove leaves and debris from the top of storm drains, as clogged storm drains can lead to flooding. Don't keep piles of yard waste in your yard, on the sidewalk, or street. Use a green waste recycle bin, and check with your local city office on where to place collected leaves for pickup. And when it snows, remember to keep the snow away from curb and gutter and storm drains. We can all make a difference if we do our part. Brought to you by the Cache Stormwater Coalition.
Are you a business owner or HR director that's frustrated with your current employee benefits? If you are confused about coverages and can't get a hold of your agent, it's time for a change. This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits. As an independent agency, we will give you options. Let us give your benefits package a fresh look. Call Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits today, 435-752-0101.
The Cash Archers Charity Fun Shoot is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Cache County Fairgrounds Indoor Arena. $20 for adults, $10 for youth 12 to 17, and kids under 12 shoot for free. This year's Charity Fun Shoot is raising funds for Cache Valley Cares for Christmas Foundation, providing Christmas for Cache Valley families, individuals, and senior citizens in need this holiday season. Pre-register online at CacheArchers.com. This Saturday, 9 to 3 at the Cache County Fairgrounds Heated Indoor Arena. Get all the details and pre-register at CacheArchers.com.
You know the name. You know the voice. Now it's time to see him in person.
Hark the herald angels sing.
Nathan Pacheco's Higher Christmas 2024 tour comes to Logan's Ellen Eccles Theater December 11th for a night of Christmas favorites and other classics featuring special guests, the Cache Children's Choir. Tickets available at CacheArts.org. Bring the family together for a special evening with Nathan Pacheco. Tickets at CacheArts.org.
A big thank you from Spring Hill Suites by Marriott Logan. We're the proud silver winner for hotels in the 2024 Best of Northern Utah. We owe it all to our fantastic community.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Wrapping up hour one of today's show. A little promo for hour two. We have so much to talk about. Andy Morgan will be here in just a few minutes for the For the People movie show. And there is a lot. We talked about Gladiator and Wicked last week. Mona 2 in theaters new this weekend. Y2K. This one kind of intrigues me. This is as I understand it, a comedy horror film that poses the question. So we all know that when all the doom prophecies about Y2K in 1999, all the computers were going to fail, banking system would collapse, the economy right after it, all of that. We all know none of that happened when the clock switched at midnight in 1999 to 2000. But this horror film set in 1999 asks, what would happen if things had gone wrong? And apparently involves a bunch of teens trying not to get killed by a killer, and it's supposedly very funny. We'll talk about that. We also have a gazillion announcements of holiday films hitting streaming services and theaters. Disney lining up the release of Mufasa, a Lion King story. Nosferatu, a very scary horror remake. There's a lot. We'll get to it all on the For the People movie show next here on KVNU Logan.